I hope you're having a great day. So yesterday I went and I gave the speech for the Rotary Club, and they were all really nice and said I did a good job, and that was fun. I think it was actually my worst speech yet. Like, in my mind, they didn't give me any reason to think that, but I felt like I always tell a little bit about my past to let people know that I've only been doing this 3 years, because, you know, in my 40s, somebody might think I've been doing this my whole life. So maybe I'd have more knowledge about different things, but I'm still learning. I'm pretty new at it. So I like to kind of give my past story and tie it into like how flower farming started, and then kind of tie it all together. And I did not do that part. And I don't think I told as many jokes. I think I was just a little more nervous and a little off. But everybody was smiling, and they laughed at a few points in my story, and they were really kind, and they told me that it was a really nice talk. So that is good, and that is done. And that makes me so excited. I don't know what my problem is speaking in front of people and telling them my story, but it makes me extremely nervous. And I don't know why, because I've done it a lot now. I mean, I've given probably 3 speeches, and in my old job, I used to give, like, I'd have to talk in front of people too, but I tried not to. I tried to only answer questions. Answering questions is easy for me. I can stand up in front of people and answer questions and just say, I don't know if I don't know. And that's easy to me. But like coming up with something that will like be interesting to other people and like come up with what to say and all of that, that is just hard for me. So anyway, that's done. I'm so excited. So I got my boards cut. The hardware store did it again. This time they didn't even charge me. They're being way too nice. I think that's awesome. But I am buying the boards and everything, so I am giving them some money, and I did go and buy the screws from them, and anything I can think of in the future that I can get there, I will, because I think it's a really great place, and they've been really kind. And I even asked them, you know, I had all those problems with those screws, and I'd screw them in, and I couldn't unscrew them. And they kind of showed me what was going on, and like how like the head of the screw matters. So like a cheaper screw, which I didn't know there were even cheaper screws. I just saw what I needed and grabbed them, because I'd been at another hardware store and they only had one type, because I'd looked all over. Well, they have a lot, because this is more like a lumber yard. So they have a lot of different types, and so they kind of showed me the differences in each. So now I know that there are like better screws that grip and pull the wood tighter together and stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and get these braces on that I never got finished up. So I'm hoping to get these 2 tables ready for standing up like this and putting wire on today. That's my goal. So I'm going to get to it. Yay! All the bases are put together, and I think they're pretty sturdy. I feel like I can walk on them. Let's see. Ooh, that one wasn't sturdy. I must have forgot to screw that one in. Let's see. I did. There are no screws on this side. It went down. So that's good to know. I'll have to put that back up. There are screws on that side. Yay! Okay, so I'll screw that. I'll hammer that up and screw that in. And then I should be ready for chicken wire, which is awesome. There is something I noticed already, and I don't know if it's where the sun is. It is really warm in here. Like, I'm getting ready to shed my coat and my hat, and it's 24 degrees outside. It's absolutely freezing outside. So that's nice to know that it is kind of warm in here on a sunny day. But the tall table is not getting full sun right now, and the 2 shorter ones are. So I'll flip you around and show you. So the entire tops of these are covered in sun. And they have been most of the morning, so that makes me feel good because it's about noon, which means these will be getting 4 to 5 hours of sunlight in the morning. But look at this one. See how this board is getting shaded already? I don't know if it's the position because the sun is getting higher in the sky, but that tall one definitely wouldn't get as much light as the shorter ones because it's already starting to get shaded. Now, maybe I could move it back. There's a lot of sunlight still on the floor, but it might just be too tall to be getting the sunlight. But the front part of it is definitely up next to the window, is definitely still in the sun. It's just kind of this back board I just see is shaded right now. It might be hard to see in the camera, but it's just shaded along this edge. So I could still have trays all up here getting sun, maybe just not the back ones. And like I said, I might want a taller workbench because it'd be much more comfortable to work at this level where I'm not like bending over to do everything than it would be on these shorter ones. Like here, I'd almost have to be on my knees to like work on anything and be comfortable. So I'm gonna leave the tall one. And if I find that I don't use it as a workbench and that I don't have enough room for all my plants, then I will just have to chop off the legs. And that will be that. So a couple of things that I did learn doing these projects. One, if I ever wanted anything that looked really nice and perfect with all the right angles, I would definitely hire a carpenter. Two, I just used the screws I had, and I should have used shorter ones because there are screws like sticking out a little bit in places. All over really, but I don't really see that being a big deal for in here. I'm the only one really using them, and I'm only using the tops of them, so I think that'll be okay too. And three, if you do need a bench, it is so much cheaper. Like I looked at greenhouse benches, and the cheapest one I saw online was $4.40 plus shipping. I did see some like toolbox type benches that were similar for about $330, but I think for all three of these tables, which I might not have to buy the chicken wire, or I might, so I might have a little bit more into it, but I don't think I'm gonna have a lot more into it. I know if I added wheels, it'd probably add $50 a table, so I'm not gonna add wheels just yet. I could see where they'd be handy, but only if I had a better ramp leading outdoors where I could wheel them out if I needed a table outside. And you can always flip them over and add the wheels later. It might be a pain because the chicken wire might like catch on stuff, but I'm sure it could be done. You could throw a piece of plywood down or something. So, and I didn't know that when you start a screw, I learned this at the hardware store because I asked him. If you start a screw and it starts pushing the wood away, you just kind of let it push the wood away, but let it drill a small hole, and then you pull it back out, and then you do this, and then you screw it back in, and then it pulls it. And I did that today because on that one that I'm my problem child, and I didn't even get one of the boards screwed in. That one had issues like that, and today that did solve the issue. So if you ever are doing it and it pushes your board out, you just unscrew it and then screw it back in, and it actually pulls it together. So that was a great trick that I learned. I think if I were to do it again and I had a saw, I actually cut those little pieces with my chainsaw because I didn't have a saw. That I would cut like 45-degree angles on these. I would probably make these longer, do a 45-degree angle, and make it nice. I did screw this in, so I think it's fine, but it doesn't look as nice. So there's things like that that a real carpenter probably has the patience for, the know-how, the tools. But I think for not really having the tools, these are gonna work next spring, and I think they'll continue to work. And if worse came to worse, I think you could unscrew them and make them nice again. So we'll just see how they go. Maybe they'll last for years. You never know. But I'm going to screw that last one in, and then okay, so there was a big bundle of wire, and it looks like it fits almost exactly from side to side. So if I can get it straight, I won't even have to cut anything but the ends off, which would be awesome. So I think I'm just going to start hammering it and hope it doesn't all take off and go into my greenhouse plastic. I did move the table out a little bit to help. It is a little rusty. I don't think that really matters. It'll be nice to kind of use some of it up. It's just a spool over here that's just taking up space. I don't think anyone had any plans for it. So I'm going to go ahead and unroll it and try to tack it down. I did bring a staple gun, but I don't think the staples are big enough. So I also have some like U hooks. My dad told me the other day what they were called and I forgot already. Anyway, I'll show you. They actually say they're poultry net staples. But they're just these little, so I think I'm just gonna kind of hammer those in, at least on the ends. I might try a few staples and see if they work like on the middle, but on the ends I'll definitely use these. So I'm gonna go through and do that now. One down. So because it's like older wire, it's a little bit like wavier, I think, than if you got brand new, but I think it'll work. I'm so excited. I'm done. And I counted and I think I could fit 20 trays on each of these if they were really pushed together, and 18 very comfortably. I just have to like face them different ways. But I'll spin you around and give you a look. I'm so excited. Now that it's done, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can bring all my like bigger containers and stuff like that out of my basement and put them out here. Because I don't ever really use those to start my seeds, and if I had to, I could always come out and grab them. But I'll flip you around and show you the end of my tables. So these are just really old. They've been in here since I was a little girl. So I kept them and kind of put them to the side. And then I've got all of my tables lined up. So I've got like a little workspace and hopefully a place where plants can get some sunlight, and we'll see how it progresses over the years. I don't really know if we'll bring in and put some kind of light on the ceiling or not. We'll just see how it goes. And I know they're not perfect. As a matter of fact, the one that gave me all the troubles with the legs, I got the wire all rolled out and I was like hammering it down, and I got to this other side and it was all like broken off and stuff. And I was like, I think it'll work. It's all right. It's just in an old chicken house anyway, right? But I'm really excited to get this project done. I did not think I would get it done this year, and it is getting so cold and windy. I could just hear it howling out there. I think it's getting ready to snow again. But it is getting later in the day. But now I'm getting excited, and I just like want to clean it up and make space and get some of my pots in here so I don't have them all in my basement, and give me some room in the basement. So maybe when it warms up in a few days, well, it gets to 40 instead of 20, which I consider warmer. When the sun was shining in here earlier, I was really sweating, so that's awesome. I love looking out over it though. It's just looking better. This is from this angle. So I got my little counter height and then all my little ones. I will be getting my level out here, and I'll probably just put some boards under the legs and get them all level, because I bottom water all of my seedlings and all the water rushes to one side or the other if it's not level. And that's one of the problems when I was out in the yard and I would water them. That was another reason I wanted to get something, because they'd always slope downhill one way or the other. I never really found anywhere real flat. And so this will allow them all to lay flat and get even amounts of water before I dump it out. So that's awesome too. I just don't have my level with me, so I'll probably do that another day. I also got all of my subscriptions posted and got my first social media post that my subscriptions are available. So that's exciting, and I have a lot of computer things I need to do because I've just been putting them off. So I probably need to get to advertising for 2023 and start doing some of my books for the year and just start getting things done, because it's going to start being way too cold, I think, to really do much outside. When the ground freezes, it's hard. You can't like take fences out of the ground when it freezes. You can do some cleanup, but there is some wildlife in that. So we'll see how the year progresses. I know in January I'll be starting seeds again, and if I start any more projects, I shouldn't even say this because I don't know if I'll do it, but it would be really nice to make one of these a little bit taller than this one, like up here, and then put wheels on it, and then I could do all of my bouquet making off of it. I wouldn't put the wire on top. I could put just like plywood or something on top and put, a nice tablecloth that easily wipes off, and that would be really nice too. But I don't know. I might be done with my woodworking for a while. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day.